So this is going to be another movie review. This one's called Treasure Raiders, 2007. This can be another David Carradine flick film. This one's filmed in Moscow, Russia. One reviewer says that it's 90% Fast and Furious, 10% national treasure. I've never actually seen National Treasures. It kind of reminded me of the Da Vinci Code a little bit, with its Knights of the Templar theme in the beginning. I thought it was interesting. I didn't know anything about the Knights of the Templar, but apparently they were executed by the King of France. Some of them fled to Russia, and they buried a treasure, according to this movie. So the U.S. professor over in Moscow, he's part-time Knights of the Templar teacher to these Russian people. He's part-time archaeologist, and he's part-time car racer. So this is a busy guy. And I don't know how, there are a lot of plot holes in this one. I mean, I don't know how he comes up with $10,000 on the fly, $50,000 on the fly. Maybe he's taking money, early retirement out of his, early withdrawal out of his retirement account or something. But David Carradine even mentions that he cannot afford to search for the Knights of the Templar lost treasure on his meager professor salary. Sorry for the background noise, by the way. I don't have equipment that can drown out the background noise, but at least I went outside, so it's less noisy than inside. I know from experience because I've done it before, and people can't hear what the heck I'm saying when these two loser women are yapping at each other. So we're out in the cold. Aaron's watching is it Adventure Time season 3 disc 2. So I just like this movie. I'll give it 2 out of 5 stars. It's one of those David Carradine kind of duds. It does have some cool looking explosions though. So the professor in Moscow, he's looking for the lost Knights of the Templar treasure. David Carradine keeps asking him questions, posing as a book writer into the Knights of the Templar. Then the professor guy does some drag racing. He meets the Russian bodybuilder who reminds a lot of people of Arnold Schwarzenegger. Then there's some kind of drug dealer subplot going on. Not sure why they stuck that in there. Another plot hole is, in addition to how does the professor get tens of thousands of dollars to bet on car racing against the Russian bodybuilder dude. But in addition to that, we never learn why the Russian bodybuilder is a vigilante against drug dealer. Okay. At least Batman had this motive or motivation for going against the bad guys because they killed his parents. But this guy just apparently does it as a hobby, and he doesn't call the cops when his girlfriend and his sister are kidnapped by David Carradine. So David Carradine turns out to be a bad guy towards the end because he was a relative of the Inquisitioners of the Knights of Templar. Yeah, you tell me every single time. Oh, you're getting cold. You just got the sniffles. Okay, I better wrap this up pretty soon. But so I guess David Carradine has anti-Knights of the Templar blood in him, so that possesses him to go after the lost treasure also.
Daddy,
The Russian.
it's at the end.
Oh yeah.
No.
No. Sorry, he can't read, so I gotta read his Adventure Time episode. Mortar. There. It says, I can't even pronounce it. Mortuary, the Mortuary, the Mortuary, the Mortuary, the Mortuary, the Mortuary, the Mortuary, the
Stop.
Mortuary, the Mortuary, the Salutamus. Boy, that's a tongue twister, that Adventure Time episode. Okay, sorry for the break. I had to help my son read the name of the episode. The second episode on Season 3, Disc 2 of Adventure Time. So getting back to the movie, the Russian bodybuilder guy has an amulet that supposedly decodes the Knights of the Templar gospel. The professor guy with his girlfriend, who just also happens to be the Russian guy's sister, they go with the Russian bodybuilder guy to this old 16th century church, and they find the they find the Knights of the Templar gospel in some hidden stone on the church. They get the instructions to find the place from a curator guy who dies inexplicably towards the end of the movie. Another plot hole. So David Carradine is following them around, and he kidnaps the sister girlfriend, sister/girlfriend, and all of the women in this are ugly, by the way. Ugly white women. And so they go chasing around David Carradine, more car chase scenes, explosions and stuff. And that's pretty much the movie. I mean, not much in the way of plot, a lot of plot holes. One guy got confused because the police were saying there's something going down at such and such a place, and then the beginning of the going down starts in the movie, so he thought it was choppy editing. I thought maybe they got a tip or something of something that was going to happen. Another plot hole. Not really an editing problem, more of a plot hole in my opinion. So yeah, terrible acting in this movie, by the way. Really couldn't get into any of the characters. The action scenes are kind of sparse, few and far between, but the explosions are pretty cool. Even David Carradine looks bad in this one, delivering lame script. So, not a great flick. Giving it 2 to 5 stars. Can't recommend it. Can't say check it out. I can't really say much of anything about this movie other than it's low budget. It's filmed in Moscow. The acting is terrible. The plot doesn't make any sense. And that's about it. Not much in the way of storyline, just kind of jack of all trades guy. Even learned how to make an explosive device out of the amulet. So the amulet kind of blows up in David Carradine's face. And then the Russian bodybuilder guy has these drug dealers chasing him. Hitmen. Not really drug dealers, but hitmen for the drug dealers. So there's that element. Not really sure why they had to throw that in there. And even the professor's friend ends up being a drug dealer accomplice. I guess he's using drug dealer money to help poor people in Colombia, which really doesn't make sense. And there's a lot of moralizing towards the end about the evils of being a drug dealer, because the professor's friend is posing as a doctor. And there's some really corny lines in there, like, you're supposed to be helping people, not killing people, or something like that. That's really lame. So the doctor gets criticized for victimless crime, essentially, unless you're talking about black market drug dealing, which involves a lot of violence. So it's kind of a mixed bag. I'm sure he's not 100% killer. Dealing drugs doesn't necessarily mean that you're killing people per se. If somebody ingests some bad drugs, that might be a different story, but that's kind of a fuzzy gray area, if you ask me. That's just my personal opinion. So anyways, nothing's ever black or white as they painted in this movie, Drug Dealer Bad. Vigilante good for no apparent reason. I mean, why doesn't he just call the cops when all his friends are being kidnapped? And why does he have to be a vigilante doing the cops' work for them? I mean, he's not getting paid for it. There has to be some kind of motivation like Batman, but they never explain it. So it's all very confusing. I dislike this movie. That's about all I have to say. We better get back in before he starts sniffling again. It's about 45 degrees out here. Laters.